All right, it is a Thursday edition of Texas Rewind. I got Roy Sickman and Matt Browning from the Fan Show. They capped us off today in a run-out-the-clock scenario. We had Olin Buchanan, obviously had Stephen McGee, Logan Lee, Aaron Torres, you guys, and we're in the middle of nothing. So guess what? You guys got to talk.
Yeah, we talked a lot.
You had the right guys here that could talk about it.
Yeah, we talked a lot. And Logan Lee had some really nice perspectives on basketball. So,
all right, here's a rewind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to remember he was a freshman last year, right? I mean, he's a young kid out there playing in the toughest football conference of all football conferences, and certainly the toughest football conference in the history of college football. Like in SEC today is as tough as there's ever been across the board. Maybe the old Southwestern Conference days. I mean, there's definitely some good days, but man, going against the defenses of the SEC, man, it's an incredible task, right? And let's not forget that. And this isn't to cast shade on any people out there, but the wide receiver group last year was way below average. And they weren't separating consistently, which doesn't help a young quarterback settle in and get easy completions. And so defenses were able to challenge us in a lot of ways last year. Single high, press guys, weren't clear windows to throw into. And so I think you take in all of that, the youngness, the lack of guys, weapons outside, losing Le'Veon Moss, transitioning into a new coordinator last year. There's a lot of reason for a bullish case, right? There's no doubt about it. He has an incredibly high upside. He can, not many kids can say this, but he can be as good of a football player as he wants to be, right? As much as he wants to put in the time to become a great quarterback, I think that the ceiling is very, very high for him. Now, we all agree. I mean, you know this. He's got to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he has a great year, we have a good football team. If he has an average year, we're going to have an average football team.
All right. Can I play devil's advocate there? I don't think he has to be great. If this team can't run the football, A&M will never run the football. So I think Marcel obviously fits into that scheme, but I don't think he has to be some elite 78, 81% completion percentage here.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, when I say elite, he's got to be elite in what they're asking him to do. And so, making good decisions. I think sometimes last year the things that really cost us were going to be the big negative plays. The early interception against Texas is one that is always fresh in my mind because it was the last game that really think about it, forget about USC. But, those type of plays really hurt your team.
How much do you know about just the difference in what he's putting these players through compared to the previous coaching regime?
It's completely different, Bronny. I got to watch practice for the first time the other day. Unfortunately, I haven't been in there as much as I wish I could be right now, but they are moving and shaking. Every drill that they do is finished with a sprint to half court. Whether that is offense or defense, you're getting back or you're pushing the ball. Everything that they do is fast-paced, full speed. Get to the other side of the floor as fast as you can because that's the pace that they want to move at. I'm extremely excited about it. It's something that I've never played in. It's something that A&M hasn't seen before, and I think people are going to be pretty enthusiastic when they see the product on the court.
Well, and one of the things that Bucky said last night was he was just trying to get the guys used to, obviously, the pace they want to play and practice at, and I think you just spoke to that. But they also want to get them used to the volume of three-point shooting that they are going to be asked to do. So in your estimation, from being able to watch practice, can you kind of verbalize and describe what you saw at practice that made you go, what they are good? Like, this is even more threes than I thought they were going to shoot.
Brauninger, I don't think anybody understands when Bucky says he wants to play fast and shoot threes. Like, that's an understatement. They had every drill, no matter if you were a guard, a wing, a big, whatever, you're taking threes. And you were shooting threes and you were getting back. They had a one-on-one. It was basically from half court. You play one-on-one. A three is worth a three. A layup is worth two. Anything in between a three and literally, he said, if you shoot the ball inside the charge circle, the arc, that's worth 2. If you shoot it outside the arc, it's only worth 1. And a 3 is worth 3. A layup or a dunk is worth 2. Any mid range, that's only worth 1. We want to get to the basket, or we want to shoot threes.
Yeah, I mean, when you take into account and you look at trying to put the toothpaste back into the tube, it makes you long for the days of these under the table deals where you knew it was happening. You know, the $100 handshakes and stuff. But man, it was simpler times. At.
Oh, it was much simpler times. $100 handshake compared to what guys are getting now. By the way, Bronny, did you see the LSU Arkansas game last night?
Oh, believe me, you know me. I'm the baseball guy, and I love baseball, and I watch college baseball. It's my favorite sport. We broke that down for 30 whole minutes. It was one of the bigger meltdowns that I've ever seen. And unfortunately for Arkansas, if you're a Razorback fan, Charles Schwab Field's kind of been a house of horrors.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I know I don't think it's a debate Arkansas fans want to get in. I understand they were 1 out away from a championship in 2018 on a drop-off flight. But when you have 2 relatively rudimentary plays to end the game, and then the game-winning hit was a play that could have been made that would have forced extra innings, it was about as big of a collapse as I've ever seen.
Hey,
and again, for any go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I think the play that gets lost in the shuffle here is how the inning started with just a crazy decision by the first baseman to range so far to his right to field that ball, and then he throws it behind the pitcher covering. So LSU gets their inning started with 1 out on just another pretty routine play that the decision-making of Arkansas was really highlighted in that inning. It was hard to fathom, AT.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I always joke about being a college baseball guy this time of year. I don't follow the sport. I watch for a couple weeks in May and June, but I bring it up because Phil Elson, who's the Arkansas play-by-play guy, has become a good friend of mine. And what's crazy to me is that, Arkansas is really known for the fundamentals, basically not beating themselves. It's like, I'm trying to think of like a Jay Wright Villanova basketball team that doesn't beat themselves, a Nick Saban.
So all these lists that everybody's coming up with, nobody's going to care once the ball snaps.
Right.
They don't matter one bit. Mm-hmm. They don't determine any kind of win or loss, completion, incompletion, interception. They don't matter. But this is what we have to talk about. And the example that I used from yesterday when I was driving home, I had Jake Crane's podcast on, and they were ranking the quarterbacks in the NFL, and they got to select their ranking. 3 guys there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all that kind of stuff. So they had Lenoris Sellers first. And I'm fine with that. Like, if you're looking at it through a lens of, I'm looking for the guy that's going to win me the most college football games, which I think that's all that matters. Like, I don't care about the NFL. I just don't. Yeah. Like, Lenoris Sellers can absolutely win you a bunch of college football games. He did it at South Carolina. You can make a real argument they should have been in the playoff, and had they gotten in the playoff, if they'd have gone to a Final Four, would it have surprised either one of you?
Yeah,
no.
Especially the way that guy, we just pinballed off the guy the entire game. Like nothing I've ever seen. So, yeah, especially we as Aggie fans, we're going, that guy's pretty darn good.
Well, and they reminded me a little bit of the 2012 A&M team with Johnny.
Yeah.
Where at the end of the year, who was playing better football than that 2012 A&M team? There wasn't one. And South Carolina, very similar last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were. I mean, that guy was.
They were playing outstanding football.
Yeah. They were. And then but the issue that I had with this, and everybody's got an opinion, and part of me thinks that this is the reason why they picked John Mateer too, so that everybody in the region that had radio shows the next day could come on and they were all going to break this down. But they had John Mateer at Oklahoma too, who, as Matthew Dawson acutely pointed out during the break, what do you love about John Mateer? Is it his? You can go through the list.
I love his offensive coordinator. That's what I love. I mean, is it his below average arm strength? Is it his pretty average height? Is it his average mobility? I mean, maybe he's a little bit more athletic than I'm giving him credit for, but I mean, you were talking about that they just want like winners. Okay, was it his loss to New Mexico or was it loss to Oregon State that impressed you? And I like John Mateer, but I like him with Ben Arbuckle at offensive coordinator. If I'm drafting him to play quarterback for my team, Ben Arbuckle better be my offensive coordinator is all I'm going to say.
All right, you guys know what to do. Like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe. Texags Thank you guys. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning, Friday, taking you into a weekend.